But let him act in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. James 1:6. Have you ever noticed that anytime you had doubt, things fell through for you? I began to notice that pattern, right? Now, we've all heard of the protection or removal prayer, people like to call it. But here's the thing. I can recall a time in my life where I was in circles that expired, meaning I overstayed my welcome. And what's the scripture? Is a scripture for this? I cannot recall right now, but I do remember the saying that is inspired by the scripture, and it's like familiarity breeds contempt. I began to give the benefit of the doubt to people that I was surrounded by, and it came to bite me in the long run. Don't cast your pearls among swine, lest they'll turn around and rend you. That's in the scriptures as well, right? So during that time, I asked God, like, hey, if I'm doing something that is causing this, reveal it to me, and also reveal to me the people that I should no longer be around. Because patterns are important, right? And I began to notice a pattern. And once I said prayer, sure enough, like in an instant, I'm no longer around these people. But I can think back to God telling me specifically, nothing beneficial ever comes from doubt. And you give people the benefit of the doubt, which is a false doctrine. When it's all said and done, that is such a term that we use so loosely, and we think that we're doing a good deed by saying it like, oh, I tried to give this person the benefit of the doubt. But again, I ask you, has anything beneficial ever came from doubt? The scripture says, without faith, it is impossible to please God. So if you don't have faith, that means you have doubt, right? Because there's no belief. So why is it that you have doubts about people, places, or things, right? And you gaslight yourself, and then things fall flat? That's because nothing beneficial comes from it. What prompted me to talk about this is I was scrolling online, and I've seen so many different story times. And each time in said story time, I would hear a person say, I tried to give this person the benefit of the doubt. I just tried to see the good and all of these things. It's nothing wrong with seeing the good in people. However, you cannot ignore the things that are being done that are detrimental to you, right? Think about imposter syndrome. That is basically doubting your gifts, talents. You wind up being somewhere, and then you begin to doubt that you actually belong. In turn, you begin to self-sabotage because of said doubt. So again, nothing beneficial comes from doubt. And I want you to ask yourself, have you ever experienced doubt and gained from it? We have to stop gaslighting ourselves. We have to know who we are, whose we are, and not only know it, but believe it without wavering. The benefit of the doubt is a scheme that Todd set up to come to us with the nonsense. It really is. When you really think about it and it's all said and done, nothing beneficial comes from it. And I'm going to keep saying it until the seed is planted. This episode isn't going to be long. I just wanted to get on here and ask you guys to really, really think about the times you've given benefit of the doubt. And then, being a good Christian is forgive, forgive, forgive. Yes, you can forgive. We all ought to forgive someone, but that's not the same as giving benefit of the doubt. Just because you forgive someone does not mean you always have to keep that person around. You see what I'm saying? There are certain times where you can discern, yes, forgive that person, you make amends, and y'all move on. But then there are some times where it's like, pay attention to the patterns. And even though you can forgive, remove yourself. See, that removal prayer people say isn't always God removing the people around you, it's removing you as well from said circles. The whole God don't play about me thing, God doesn't play about any of his children. And I'm going to touch on that for another day. But I will say some of you guys are really mean spirited when you say that. And it's not coming from a place of gratitude towards God for protection. But anyway, again, ask yourself, are you giving the benefit of the doubt? And is it beneficial to you? Thank you all for tuning in with Scrolling with Nette. Comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Please like the video on your way out, and I will talk to y'all later. Peace.